TomoNews presents massive explosions and devastating blasts.
Massive blast from tunnel bomb kills 30 Syrian government soldiers. Syrian opposition activists say a devastating blast from a bomb detonated in a tunnel beneath a government military position has killed dozens of soldiers loyal to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The target for the attack was a government checkpoint near the town of Ma'arat al-Numan in Syria's northwestern Idlib province. 60 fighters with the Islamic Front and Shields of the Revolution Council took 50 days to complete the tunnel, which extended more than 200 meters. In it, they placed a large amount of an unknown explosive. Opposition fighters routinely use such methods to attack regime checkpoints and headquarters. The huge blast killed at least 30 government soldiers as well as 2 opposition officers. Here's the explosion from another angle. The activist group Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says the checkpoint was one of the last lines of defense for the Wadi Daif military base, one of the last regime strongholds in Idlib province.
Massive explosion rocks northeastern Chinese city.
A series of deadly explosions rock a warehouse in Tianjin, China. Massive blasts in China's northern port city of Tianjin have killed at least 17 people and injured hundreds more. The fiery explosions took place in a warehouse that stores dangerous chemical goods in the port area of Tianjin's Binhai district. The company who owns the warehouse has been identified as Tianjin Dongjiang Port Ruihai International Logistics, and their warehouse has 2 storage rooms for dangerous goods. It is not clear which part of the building triggered the blasts. The first explosion took place at 11:34 p.m. and was as powerful as a 2.3 magnitude earthquake. The explosion triggered a second blast with a magnitude of 2.9 just 30 seconds later. At least 17 people were killed by the blasts and more than 300 have been injured. The cause of the explosions is still under investigation.
Death toll in Tianjin chemical blast reaches 112 as authorities announce evacuation of 3-kilometer radius from epicenter. Firefighters are still battling new blazes at the site of Wednesday's massive chemical explosion at a logistics center in Tianjin. China's government has ordered the evacuation of a 3-kilometer radius around the site of Wednesday's chemical explosion in Tianjin due to hazardous chemicals in the area. The site in Tianjin housed 700 tons of sodium cyanide, as well as sodium carbide and other chemicals. When firefighters sprayed water, it reacted with the chemicals, causing sodium carbide to explode, throwing sodium cyanide over a wide area. Sodium cyanide is extremely hazardous. In contact with water, it emits hydrogen cyanide, which is liquid below 25.6 degrees Celsius, but boils into a gas above that temperature. Sodium cyanide and hydrogen cyanide are water-soluble and can be absorbed through the skin. Hydrogen cyanide gas is extremely lethal if inhaled. Sodium cyanide and hydrogen cyanide cause death by stopping any organs they contact from utilizing oxygen. Family members of the 95 people still missing after the blast, including 85 firemen, as well as of the over 700 injured, have accused the government of lacking transparency in dealing with the disaster.
Video captures huge explosion at a missile base in Yemen. A massive explosion from an airstrike in Yemen's capital left at least 15 people dead and wounded dozens more on Monday. The attack was the latest in a series of airstrikes led by Saudi Arabia in the Sana'a area. Saudi fighter planes bombed a Fajatan military base that was housing Scud missiles. The resulting explosion shattered windows and tore holes in buildings and cars. According to Reuters, at least 15 people died in the blast. Al Jazeera reported more than 300 people were wounded. Saudi-led strikes have been targeting areas where Houthi rebels have increased their power, including in suburbs of the capital. Witnesses reported hearing anti-aircraft artillery throughout the area following the explosion. One witness at a local hospital told Reuters victims with debris wounds crowded the emergency room.
Taiwan water park explosion injures more than 500 people. More than 500 people were injured in a fire and an explosion at an amusement park in Taiwan on Saturday. An explosion and a fire broke out at the Formosa Fun Coast Water Park on the outskirts of Taipei on Saturday night. Fine dusts become explosive when dispersed in midair because they have a large surface area that can react with oxygen. Initial findings suggest that the powder used at the party could have been ignited by the heat of stage lights as it spread into the crowd. More than 500 people were injured in the explosion. Most of them suffered burn injuries in their lower bodies. Taiwan officials have announced a ban on using flammable colored powder on parties.
Shocking new video from Taiwan water park fire as one victim is pronounced dead. A tragic explosion occurred at a Colored Play Asia party on Saturday at the Formosa Water Park in New Taipei City, Taiwan, leaving 498 partygoers with serious burns. 202 of the victims are in critical condition, and one 20-year-old woman who was in attendance has died from injuries sustained from the explosion and resulting fire. The fireball was caused when flammable colored powder that was being sprayed out into the crowd ignited from an unknown heat source. Investigators hypothesized that the fire could have been initially caused by either the heat from the stage lights, someone smoking a cigarette, or a spark in the crowd. The organizer of the event and 2 technicians were arrested in response to the accident and have since been released on bail. The organizer of the party, Lu Chongqi, has taken full responsibility for the accident. The only death reported so far is a 20-year-old woman who was taken off of life support on Monday after suffering second-degree burns to 90% of her body. In the aftermath of the explosion, colored powder has been banned from parties, as doctors are worried that some partygoers inhaled the powder, which may cause respiratory problems. Skin grafts are being reallocated from around Taiwan to assist with the large number of burn victims at Mackey Memorial Hospital in Taipei. The water park has subsequently closed out of respect for the victims while an investigation is ongoing.
Taiwan gas explosion kills 25, including 4 firefighters. 4 firefighters were among the 25 people killed in a series of explosions triggered by gas leaks in the southern Taiwanese city of Kaohsiung. 267 people were injured and 2 remain missing. Kaohsiung residents saw white gas leaking from the city's sewage system at about 8:40 p.m. The first explosion went off at 10 p.m., followed by a second at 11:25 p.m. that injured 50 firefighters. The third explosion took place at 12 a.m. and carved a large trench through the center of a road. The first 3 explosions occurred within a 3-kilometer diameter area. Footage of an explosion recorded from a car's dash cam has been released on the internet. At least a dozen explosions in total took place before 2 a.m. Authorities evacuated people from the area between Sanduo 2nd Road and Ersheng 1st Road, and restricted car traffic from entering an area between Wuchuan Street and Zhongshan 2nd Road. Rescuers continue to search for the 2 missing people. Prosecutors say that the Ministry of Justice will dispatch more than 100 police officers to investigate the incident.
Drone camera shows devastation from Kaohsiung gas explosion.
Explosion sends debris flying into busy Mexico City street. A giant explosion tore through a busy Mexico City roadway Friday morning, injuring nearly a dozen people. CCTV camera footage released by city officials captures the dramatic moment when the blast sent shattered glass and debris flying into the street. Authorities believe a gas leak at a nearby restaurant was to blame for the incident. The explosion injured and hospitalized some 10 or 11 people, including an 8-year-old girl. Thankfully, no fatalities have been reported, and an investigation is ongoing.
Space station supply rocket explodes during liftoff in Virginia.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have liftoff of Antares, the torque-free mission that brings Cygnus on its third CRS mission to the ISS. Got main engines at 108%. Attitude nominal. And launch team, be advised, stay at your consoles. Everyone in the LCC, maintain your positions in your consoles. In the LCC, maintain positions at your console.
Subway worker miraculously survives explosion. A garbage can tossed onto New York subway tracks triggered a massive explosion when an MTA worker tried to dislodge it on Sunday. Video footage of the brave employee taken at 5:50 a.m. shows him removing a metal can from the tracks with a rail paddle at the Cypress Avenue stop in the Bronx. As the unidentified man is seen trying to remove the can, a northbound number 6 train strikes it, lighting the can, showering the subway worker with flaming sparks. A MTA spokesperson noted just how miraculous it is the man survived with only minor injuries.
Hot air balloon crash lands into power lines, causing explosion. A hot air balloon got caught in power lines while attempting to land in a Massachusetts neighborhood around 7:40 p.m. on Saturday. 2 explosions ensued. Onlookers in Clinton began recording the balloon as it passed by overhead near Greeley and Brook Street. Follow the link in the description for the full video. The pilot then attempted to land the hot air balloon in the residential neighborhood. To lower the balloon, pilots would have to have pulled the valve cord and released hot air from the parachute valve. One thing to keep in mind while landing a balloon, watch out for things, especially power lines. The balloon slowly descended into the high electrical current wires.
People need to move. They hit the power.
All 5 people on board sustained minor burns from the first explosion, but they weren't free from danger just yet.
I hope no one.
A second explosion resulted in a temporary power outage for nearly 600 residents.
Everybody move!
The FAA says it will open an investigation into the incident, but one thing's for sure, these guys are lucky. Power lines are the #1 cause of serious ballooning accidents.
Oil tanker explodes in Nigeria, killing at least 69 people. A runaway oil tanker exploded at a bus station in southern Nigeria on Sunday afternoon, setting 12 buses on fire and killing at least 69 people. The driver of an oil tanker driving near the Upper Awika roundabout in the Nigerian city of Onitsha lost control of the tanker as he was descending a hill. The oil tanker veered into a crowded bus station and struck part of the station building. The tanker then exploded minutes later. "12 buses and 3 motorcycles nearby were caught in the fire. At least 69 people were killed and another 30 injured. According to a 2013 report by the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, Nigeria has the highest road accident rate in the world due to bad road quality and lack of vehicle maintenance.
Video captures huge explosion in Brooklyn subway station.